All right, everybody, welcome one and all. We're going to start doing a little bit of a little introduction here into how, Python kind of works here, how to turn in our first program and how that's going to run. So first and foremost, when you run Python, we're going to run idle, and this is just the shell. You can hit the start menu or the search bar, type in idle, and you should have this installed. If you don't have this installed, well, then it is right up here, assuming you have, uh, well, any kind of computer, rather. Now, this is not the Mac version, it's more the PC version, but I mean, it should work. If you don't have the Mac version, download it, go to their website. I think I could probably include that later. If it's not here now, just click the little link here, and it should take you directly to the site to install whatever version that you need to install. Now, in our case, we're going to put together a little simple program to show you how printing and stuff works, and then submit it. So for this, we could do everything in the interpreter as you see here, but I can't really save what I'm doing here. I mean, I can type in, anything I want here. Let's see, x equals blah, 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 and it should work. Y equals this, and code will run. If I want to print happy birthday, for example, quotes, there we go, it will print happy birthday. But that doesn't let me save my actual code. So what I want to do here is go to new file and just make a blank little file here for us to work on. Now whatever I put here, as soon as I hit run, it'll run. So in this particular case, I can do your basic print statements. Testing 1, 2, 3, like so. And as soon as I hit run, it'll ask me if I need to save it. You may want to find your location wherever you happen to be, whether you have a flash drive or your U drive or your documents if you're on an actual computer. I'm just going to call this test, but I will say this. Normally speaking, whenever I name a file, I almost always name it like this. Today was January 1st, for example, 2029, that's what I would name it. And then, intro something would be the name. And I'd hit save. And this keeps all those programs kind of listed in order for me. Makes it easier for me to keep everything organized and find and all that stuff. So usually I'll name it like this. You can't have the name start with a number, so I usually use the underscore. This will keep it in numerical order, so I can see what I did this day, this day, this day. Now, if you don't want to name it that way, that's perfectly fine. Just keep in mind that, well, it will be easier to organize and find things than if you just name it intro this and, blah, blah, blah that. It's much easier to have it in order. Now, of course, you could order it by date modified, and that's fine. I just find that this will automatically keep it in order without you having to do that. So it'll cut out an extra step. So whatever you want to call it, just click it and hit save. But again, I usually just name it whatever the date is. And then we got our file, it'll run. Now what it does when we hit this, I hit run, or F5 in this case, and it's going to compile. If there's any kind of errors or issues, it's going to spit them out on the screen here. In this case, I printed some stuff. If I do have some sort of thing that didn't work out right, well then, sometimes it'll be very specific. Hey, this was never closed. Other times, it won't quite know what to do or what you're trying to do. It depends. Missing a quote should pretty much tell you. Unterminated string literal. That means literally, I didn't put a end quote here. Now, if you want, you can turn on the line numbers to keep track of the lines. That does help a bit. But let's just make a couple of little print statements here, and we'll turn it in simply. So I can print any number of things here. We can even do your basic math if I want to. It can be a number just by itself. and boom, there's 10. Or I can do plus 50, for example. And there's, you know, the first statement, the second statement, plus 50, 60. Just like that. We can print hello there. Another string of words or letters or whatever here, and it'll do that. I could just say, I don't know, let's see, 10 at the end of this, and it'll print whatever that number happens to be at the end of that. Now there are some little caveats, I guess you can say, where it would kind of malfunction a little bit. If I start adding too many commas and various other things, you could end up making me a little angry. But that just takes a little bit of practice to kind of get used to it. As you can see, it added the 10 plus 10 here. So these are just different ways we can print things on the screen. Now, once I've got this run and it's working like it's supposed to, then I'm fairly good to go ahead and get it turned in. Now, these are just your basic print statements doing some basic math. Now, math always does things in the order that math is supposed to do it in. So, for example, if I put a star, that's multiplication. If I put, let's just go with plus, and then I'll change this to a star, times 2. So if you look at this, some people would say that 60 times 2 is 120, but that's not actually what's going to appear on my screen. It's actually going to be 110. Because, well, it's going to do the multiplication first. It's going to go in the order it's supposed to go in. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, exponent, you know, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Although multiplication, division, addition, subtraction are basically treated at the same priority. So if I have a plus and a minus or whatever, it's just going to go left to right, like here, here. If you have multiplication or parentheses or anything like that, it'll do that first in this case. So I've got something that's working here. Let's see about turning that in. I'll click on my first program. And I've already submitted one earlier, so I'll just hit new attempt here. Now I can upload my file, choose file, and I've got mine saved in document somewhere, so I'll look down for my Python file. I think it was test. I hit open, test.py. And at that point, if I want to leave a comment, I can. If I hit submit, it'll get submitted. Poof. There we go. Now, if I go to my grades, I should see that I turned something in there. You'll see ... intro quiz ... Now, if there's a little comment or something, I personally will leave a comment saying something along the lines of, you messed up or something. Now, if you mess up in a program, the next week there will literally be a video showing you what the solution is. Your goal at that point is to, well, fix it. Essentially go back in and redo the program using the video as a helper, or ask me questions if you need to as well. If you mess up on something, the benefit is we're still going to be using that topic, so you still get more chances to practice on it. The negative is, well, we're still going to be using that thing that you're having trouble with. So if you continue to have trouble, you're going to continue to get worse and worse as the class goes on. So if you do have an issue, fix it as soon as you can. If you mess up on a program, well, the solution's posted. Ask me questions, redo it. Your best bet is to basically follow the video and build it and try to understand where you went wrong, and then put the video to the side, rebuild it again without the video's help. And if you can do that, then you should be pretty good for the next program. And that's roughly how that works throughout the entire semester. You can see the grades, whatever that happens to be. I didn't do that, but let's say I did that, then this would be my current grade in the class. If I got all the points on this, well, then I'd have this. Now, me changing this doesn't actually change it on this screen. On the teacher screen, I can change this and it sticks, but for you guys, you can come in here and adjust this to whatever you need. And it'll only temporarily show you the actual score. Once I reload the page, though, it goes back to the way it was normally. All right, and that is the rough intro on how to turn in assignments and things like that.